This is James Altucher at TheStreet.com TV, and I'm here with Jim Cramer, and Jim's going to answer questions posed by Stock Picker members on the site. And if you want to, every week I'm going to post a question on Stock Picker Answers. Answer here if you have questions for Jim Cramer, and then I'll try to get to the best of those and ask Jim each week. So Jim, here's a question. What is the relationship between leveraged buyouts and a flat yield curve?
Well, I think that what we really want to look at is that you need to finance these leveraged buyouts with 10, 15, 20-year bonds. So, I mean, the short end of the curve really doesn't matter here. So I think that's as long as the long end stays at 5 or 4 and change, or 5 and a quarter, you're going to keep seeing these deals because it's just that you can price this kind of paper at 6 and a half, and everyone goes nuts for it. So, I mean, that's one, other than Outback Steak, I mean, everybody's been able to monetize these things. As long as we have low interest rates and as long as this, you don't really need the short end of the curve to worry, you're going to see many more deals. By the way, I just want to point out that one of the things that I'm seeing is that we are getting people who are now openly saying that interest rates are shooting up. I see them all over the place. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have never traded in an environment where 15, 16% yields were the nature as they were when I first got in. They'd never traded in an environment where rates were going from 7 to 9, 7 to 9. These people are trying to scare you, and I'm urging people not to be scared. Yesterday, I watched a report where a guy said the stock guys are going to start getting real worried about interest rates when the 10-year goes to 5 and a quarter. And it's like, no, not in the least, and it's not going to kill any of these deals.
So do you think that the yield curve will stay roughly inverted, flat?
Yes. By the way,
so you're not buying the regional banks right now. You don't think they're
it's very interesting because I saw what SunTrust just did by dumping the Coca-Cola, and it's kind of intriguing. I'm looking at Synovus. That's an intriguing situation because of their TSS franchise. But I would also urge people, go back to 1995. That's the scenario I'm now developing. I'm working on this piece. I haven't finished it yet. Over 1995, we had an inverted yield curve. Things were looking. People felt that things couldn't get better than they had been. And I am openly looking at that parallel because, boy, did we ever have a run after 95 in 95.
Well, all right, another question here. This questioner notes that you were involved or are involved in a real estate business in Mexico.
Yes.
And he was asking you about HXM.
Fabulous. What people don't understand is that Mexico, the subsidies for home building are really extraordinary. You go down there and they will expedite everything. See, that's one of the things that people don't understand. When you try to build something from ground up in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, Connecticut area, it's all permitting. I mean, that's where permitting and objections. Permitting and objections. These are the fundamentals of why mom and pop, why we're not seeing, other than Cara Homes, we're not seeing a lot of home builders blow up. And the answer is because it takes tremendous wherewithal now to be a home builder because you have to deal with boards. Everyone's wise to the fact that the development is now bad, not good. See, that's the big switch. In Mexico, I mean, they're begging you to develop. I mean, anybody who has any capital should go down there. We can only build a couple homes at a time.
Well, it's interesting. Sam Zell, arguably one of the best real estate investors ever, owns a stake in HXM.
I don't think people have any idea how capitalist it is in Mexico. When we first went down there, we had a feeling that it would be confiscatory. Instead, it's like America in the 50s. I mean, there couldn't be a better environment to build homes in this world. I don't know how to create one. I mean, it's that bountiful.
Well, I just want to mention we have 3 great portfolios or spots on StockPicker where you can track Mexico stocks. We have Carlos Slim's portfolio, and obviously he owns...
Which I did, and I love it.
Yeah,
and he does.
AMX.
And boy, I tell you, AMX has been some stock and continues to be some stock.
And we also have, if you search on Mexico, you'll see a couple of portfolios. We also have a blog post titled South of the Border, which details some great Mexico
I haven't looked at that. I got to look at that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I want to point out that when we're doing these answers, I think James knows, and everybody who watches Stock Picker knows, I think if you're part of the community, that I'm in answers all the time, trying to answer. I'm not answering these because I'm saving them for the video.
Well, every day I'm trying to make sure I have more I don't want Jim Cramer to log on to Stock Picker and see that he's answered more questions than James Altucher.
That's why the Jim and James has always gotten to them first.
I caught up with you this weekend, and then you just caught up this
No,
morning.
and then I did a blitzkrieg. I did a 4 a.m. blitzkrieg.
Excellent.
Because I saw a lot of questions I really liked, and the questions are so thoughtful, and people are raising both elementary questions that they always preface by saying elementary, and they're really not nearly as elementary as people realize. They're somewhat advanced. And then there's like a lot of situations where people are asking, and I think it's a great point, I bought X at the high, what do I do now? And a lot of that is just tactics, how to be able to deal with the decline. And the community's so fabulous. It is, having been driven out of the Yahoo community, driven out of the Raging Bull community, driven out of the Motley Fool community, it's welcoming to have a place where smart people can interchange with people who are learning and people who know things individually that I don't know.
Well, the question, sometimes I can't answer the questions. They're like, there's some
good.
difficult questions.
Yeah.
So
I really like it. I don't know. I don't answer the technical questions. There's guys who should be able to answer technical questions, but I truly believe.
and Dan Fitzpatrick now is on there
who's
every
a blessing.
day also.
Who's a blessing, and he understands the lingo, and he does a great job.
Excellent. Well, this is James Altucher and Jim Cramer answering questions from the stock picker community. Thanks a lot.